I'm a knockout artist. Plain and simple. That's what I'm coming out there to do. Knock you out. Best weapons are going to be used. I'm fighting a Thai boy. I ain't kicking with a Thai boy, man. He's going to kick the crap out of me, man. He's going to beat me so bad. I spar with them all the time that I don't have the reactions to beat them like that. I have to do different things to beat them. I have to do things that they're not accustomed to and sprinkle in a little bit of Muay Thai so that they can see this picture.
Welcome to the Science of Building Champions podcast, where your host Don Heatrick chats with top-level fighters and coaches, diving into their stories to discover what makes champions.
In this episode, I'm speaking with Asa, the American Ninja Ten Pow, the Florida-based professional fighter, gym business owner, husband, and father to a young daughter. Inherently a lifetime martial artist who's making KO progress through the incredibly competitive ONE Bantamweight Muay Thai division. Asa, thank you for taking the time to chat in the lead up to your Muay Thai fight on September the 6th against John Lineker on ONE 168 in Denver, hosted, of course, in Colorado in the US. So thanks for joining me today.
Thank you. Great intro. I need that for every one of my fights. I want all of that. That'll get me going.
Well, you've got a lot going on. And, I'm going to circle back to the fight. But first, I want to get into your journey so far, because it is a big journey for you. Yes. And you started martial arts really early, 5 years old.
Yeah.
So let's start there. Tell me how you found your way into martial arts and onto the path that you're on now.
Well, with any 5-year-old, your parent is the one pushing you in there. Placed in there by my parents. My father was adamant about me being consistent in something and seeing it through. That's one of the biggest principles and characteristics he wanted to instill in me, is seeing something through. Just so happened that it was martial arts. As I kept going, moved to South Florida, kept with the training. And just basically my father kept me in traditional martial arts to see it through. He wanted me to become a martial arts instructor, a teacher, more so than a fighter. That was always his vision for me, is to have a gym and a business as I'm doing now.
Right. So that all of that's happening in parallel. So you ended up a fighter. Oh, what a disappointment. After you just wanted you to be purely the business side.
Yes.
I want to touch on that actually, because owning and running a business, let alone, a gym business like you are alongside being a professional fighter, that's something else in particular. And I'm going to come back and touch on that. But you mentioned traditional martial arts because you've got this wealth of experience that you've pulled from, say, traditional martial arts early on, and you've kind of evolved through. But wasn't it Sanshao or Sanda, as it's kind of now called, that you started off with?
Correct. Sanda being a component of Kung Fu would be the application form of what we do in Kung Fu, with techniques for competition. But yeah, that's what I started my first, progressing from point fighting to continuous to full contact to now I'm fighting Sanda, which feels more appropriate in the realms of this could lead to something in a career, professional career. Didn't see really that with point fighting and stuff, but with Sanda, I could see, okay, there's competition, there's international competition. I like competition, I like competing. So it started with Sanda, but the lack of tournaments and stuff like that, pushed me to kind of seek out other martial arts while still maybe trying to do Sanda, but I was trying to be competitive. I wanted to compete.
Yeah, that competition side of it. Why was that important to you?
I've just been a competitor, a natural competitor ever since I was a kid. Racing, tag, it just, whatever it was like I wanted to do it and like compete with somebody who's the fastest, stuff like that. As long as it's physical, Like not the mental games too much, but the physical games for sure. I saw myself as an athlete, especially as a kid. I really saw myself as an athlete. I felt like athletics was my thing, and just martial arts. I was just doing it consistently.
And I think martial arts, it's one of those, if you're looking to develop an athlete, it's one of those activities that you can chuck any child into, to be honest.
Yeah.
And they're going to develop so many qualities that cross over physically, but also the mental and emotional side of things as well, into whatever they choose to do later in life, even if it's not sporting. So there wasn't too much resistance then to your dad kind of pushing you into this. It was kind of more directing your natural attributes and interests anyway.
Yeah, I would say like the competitive side made me want to continue with martial arts. Without the competition, I may not have wanted to stay. My dad really enjoyed me doing the forms, the weapons, and even teaching kung fu. It's hard for a parent, I guess, to watch their kid fight. So like it really, like, I took it upon myself to like really compete and do good at it. And just like for me to stay in it, it was kind of give and take with my father and I. I was like, look, I want to play football. I want to go play basketball. I want to play, like, I want to do things. I don't want to teach. Like, I was literally teaching as like a 14-year-old kid. And I was like, this is not really what I want to do. I want to like compete. I want to go and fight and do all that stuff. I want to be the guy. So yeah, that's kind of where like him and I we didn't bump heads, but he was just like, look, if you want to fight, then when you're 18, you decide everything yourself. But
yeah,
right now I want you to do this, see this through, and then, get your Kung Fu black belt, which I did. Vigorous testing was not easy. And yeah, but ultimately it was athletics. It was competition for me, whatever I could see myself in. I definitely wanted to play football, but I didn't really foresee myself like long-term in it. So fighting was just right there in my back pocket for me.
Yeah. And how did you make that transition then from more the traditional martial arts, the sort of Sandar competition circuit? You're saying there wasn't enough competition going on, so that forced you to kind of look outside of that martial art. And is that how you ended up with this other experience that you built? And can you fill me in on some of what happened there?
Yeah, so classical martial arts, it's really like school driven, education driven. It's not competition driven. So for me, like, I needed to seek out a more modern martial art. Sanda was definitely modern in a sense of like you're doing things that you still don't see today. Like, guys are doing things in Sanda that you don't see. And just being a part of that, I was like, man, this is like the next level. And like, this is the level where like you're really doing it. You're really applying your technique. You're really seeing what is useful and in competition, even though there's rules, you're really having to hone your craft. So with modern martial arts, such as like boxing or kickboxing, Sanda, so I put that more in like the competition format. There's more regiment to it that is geared towards competition. With classical martial arts, it's geared towards form-based and weapons and just the movements, a lot of movements, and it doesn't really, and philosophy and all that. I don't want to downgrade traditional martial art, but it's not geared towards modern competition. So that's where I kind of had to seek out for myself. Being in South Florida at the time, there's not much to seek out, and being that martial arts on a modern level really didn't hit its stride till probably after 04, 05. It was just kind of like, shooting in the dark at gyms, and, this guy says he can do something, and this guy, and, everybody's a coach and figuring it out. So for me, it was appropriate to get with the right coaches in their right field. So on this journey, I definitely picked up a lot of modern martial art training regimens, so such as traditional boxing, kickboxing workout, Muay Thai now, MMA now. So there's all different regiments when it comes to it, and they all apply different things in the fight. So learning that and understanding that, being an enthusiast that I am, like I just wanted to grasp all that knowledge, continue to grasp it, and I felt like I was the athlete who could take all that and apply it and like really become what it means to be the modern martial artist. So yeah, like every time like I kind of went into a new look, like after Sanda, I was like, okay, I'll do international kickboxing, which they called it Oriental rules at the time, and where you can low kick, and I'm like, Oriental rules, like okay, whatever. And then like a few years later, Muay Thai started gaining ground, and like there was guys in South Florida changing their names to Thai names, and I'm like, what in the world is this? Like, this is what, you're like a Spanish dude, like, oh, why is your last name Thai now? And then I'm trying to figure all this out, and then I'm like, oh, these guys are, there's this Muay Thai that's in Thailand that is like, it's like another step to this kickboxing and this Sanda thing. And I started getting involved in that, watching K1, somehow getting K1 on YouTube, getting to see Bacau and stuff like that. And so just really when like I got to see all that stuff, especially with the UFC coming up, it was just like an explosion of modern martial arts that I was like, man, this is kind of where I feel like this is me. Like I've been doing martial arts my entire life, and like it's exploding right now. MMA is exploding. MMA exploded. Now Muay Thai is exploding. Muay Thai Jiu-Jitsu is exploding, and so it was like, it was a nice change, and I could kind of see that it's like, yeah, nobody's going to be doing kung fu anymore, and nobody's going to be really doing these classical martial arts because they're actually seeing application in form, and it's hard to like go the other way when you're actually seeing it being used that part. And I want to blend the art of it, like definitely want to make it look technical and artistic in there. So I think with the more things you acquire, you can do that. You can paint a really good Picasso in there, and you can have good performances, good showings where you can leave the audience with oh man, like I want to see what this guy can do. Like he's doing things that I didn't think were possible. And that's how I felt every time I went into a new sport. I was like, damn, boxing, I didn't know you could hit me like that. I didn't know you could be in that tight. Or Muay Thai, I didn't know you could just sweep me from standing chest to chest. And there's all those little things that I'm like, it's always surprising. And it keeps me going with this sport. It really does. Like I learn something new and I start to grasp it and I want to apply it. Like that's the thing. It's like as soon as I get it, I'm like, I got to apply this thing because this thing is going to look badass if I do it the right way. Like people are going to be like, dude, that is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And that's how I feel every time I kind of get involved with a newer genre of sport in a sense.
Yes. Yeah. And I can definitely see how you blend all that stuff together. You're kind of cherry picking the parts of all of those experiences that fit best what you're doing next. And that's Muay Thai now. What is it that's made you go the Muay Thai route? Is it the fact, because you've done MMA competition as well, not just the upright striking, but you have gone for Muay Thai as your chosen kind of top tier professional attempt at a world title? That's where you're aiming at. Why Muay Thai?
One Championship Muay Thai is the baddest Muay Thai. You are the baddest mother effer when you're in there. I don't care who you are. I've done enough of this to be like, you're the baddest motherfucker if you're in there. And doing Muay Thai in one championship, you can't. I know there's a lot of guys that do this, but holy crap, you can't take away for the fact that you're putting like so much of a gamble when you fight in Muay Thai, and just the fact to get through that fire that one championship Muay Thai is, or even traditional Muay Thai, like to go through that, your body has to be right. Like there's no pretend. You damage somebody, or you damage yourself regardless. Like that's, you're kicking as hard as you can. You're gonna hurt yourself. You're elbowing people. You're kneeing people. You're using some of the hardest weapons that, honestly, in classical martial arts, no, we're not doing that. You're gonna hurt people in class. You're not gonna do that. And you see that, and it's like, this is like artistically brutal in a sense, like more so than people understand. And and if you're in it, like kind of how I am, where I've done big gloves, I've done MMA and small gloves, I've done Sanda, I've done almost it all. It is brutal. And like to have that on my back and be like, yeah, I did that shit. Like I went in there and went with some toe to toe with some of the baddest mother effers, and I've got scars to show it. Like that's kind of where I was at with that. And I wanted to feel that fire. Like I wanted to see like, all right, I'm one of the best in the US. Like I really feel that way. I am one of the best. Fuck, let's test this thing. Let's see what's up. Before I do MMA, before I kind of, let's go put myself on the line and let's showcase, and then let's see if I can get more out of myself. And Muay Thai is just, it's like, it's brutal, man. It's brutal. Like you have to give everything to that sport, and like anything, but I feel with Muay Thai, you have to give so much, and you have to break your body so much. And it really, the camps are brutal. And it's one of those things, like it ain't for everybody. And I wanted to do that. I wanted to go through that. Like I got to get through this. Like you say it ain't for everybody. All right, well, I ain't anybody. So let's do this.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's me. I mean, you've grabbed opportunities for pro fighting experience from like Lion Fight, from Glory, Titan FC, and now ONE. Is it fair to say that you've been driven to find those competitive opportunities yourself, to be active, to grow as a fighter, to get that experience that will transfer into your goal of becoming a world champion?
Yeah, I mean, every time, like I said, when I would jump into a new genre, I would feel like I have to understand it more and more. So like I would take time away from what I was maybe focusing on. Like I was really animated on going MMA when I turned 18. I mean, I had pro contracts in my hand. Right. And thankfully, like people were watching over me saying, don't do that. And, there was a thing with me. It was like, the money is not a problem. I mean, I'm broke. I'm freaking like, paycheck to paycheck, but I'm like, yeah, I take everything that I've worked for and I do it for $500. That doesn't seem, that's not right. So, I took my time. I made sure like I could hone my craft. As far as an amateur, I did as much as I could to fight the best in the U.S., clean it up. Like there's nobody else left. This is the time to be like, I've tested a little bit of international. I've done well. Okay, I can hang with these guys. I can do it. Like I just need a little bit more. I need to understand a little bit more, train a little bit, a little bit more, and keep figuring out my way. So yeah, it's just been like, I mean, I'm still going, like I'm still learning, and I'm still like, even with MMA, I'm like, man, just like opened up another page in my chapter with grappling and stuff like that. That it's like it's fun, it's energetic to me again. It's not like redundant, like you're doing this again. Like no, it's learning something new, it's applying something new. My body is physically like, I feel it's getting stronger. I have to keep up with my things. Yeah, it's cultivating itself, and I feel we're close. Or I always do feel like I'm close, but I feel like, I'm getting closer. Opportunity definitely are getting better for me, and the spotlight is getting brighter. So I need to grasp that, and keep a hold of that, and keep pushing that agenda, which is now what you're seeing is everything coming into fruition, and I'm able to put it out on the stage at such a premier level. For me, that's where ultimately I wanted to always be, is the best version of myself in the best place possible that I can showcase myself.
Yeah. You chase that, don't you? You chase that next challenge, a new learning experience, a new practical application of that, more importantly, and it's constantly kind of moving you out of your comfort zone, which is making you grow. And those challenges. So I want to get into some of those challenges now. What would you say have been your greatest challenges or obstacles, and the lessons that you've learned from them?
Well, just competition. I would say the traveling. You have to get used to international flying, especially going to, when I'm in Florida, so it's literally one whole way around to get to the Southeast Asia. So that's those are some hurdles when you start to become, you get out of the regional, national pro scene. You have to start doing international travel. You got to start conducting yourself a little bit different, in the form of being a lot more professional, a lot more precise, getting organized way in advance before. Those kind of hurdles are they're hard because they like take away, they distract you. But if you can kind of limit that, like in the beginning, like get out to the fights early, acclimate if you can. I was too broke to do that, so I just couldn't do it. Like I wanted to go fly for 8 weeks, but I come back, I'm eating ketchup packets. So it's like, you got to do what you got to do. So yeah, there's a lot of challenges. But as far as fighting, I would say the international travel was one. I mean, we could go down the list. We can go girlfriend, job, wife, kids. Like, we could get into it, but that's a whole nother thing. Those are just like regular distractions that you may have to live with. But competition, flying, and just being, I guess, a little bit more motivated in your training.
And that kind of crosses over as well. I was just thinking, and we mentioned this earlier on, your owner and head trainer at Florida Kickboxing Academy, you've got that you're running. How does that impact your training and your fight preparation?
I've had the gym now for 10 years. It's I don't know. It's hard to say. Like, you would probably have to ask the coaches that were coaching me at the time in the beginning, because they would probably tell you, like, saying, like, I don't know how he did it. Like, I mean, I was teaching 25 plus classes a week, plus doing 6 hours of training. I mean, it was all in house. I mean, I was just like leaving home. I wasn't coming home till like midnight. I mean, it was a lot of work, but I knew, like, both of these things, we're going to go together. We're going to go together. Like, this ain't going to go down and this is going to go. No way. We're both going up. So, I've been in it for a long time. So I kind of knew a little bit how to structure structure a way to do this, and then you have to really find the right people to help in the gym and coach. I definitely have a standard. I'm very meticulous on my gym. I like clean environment. I like a working environment. I don't like people just like lounging around. Like if you come to my gym, it's like every space is taken up. There's nothing. You're either hitting the bag or you're going home. So that's kind of how I like it, dojo style, and just make it harmonious with my career, because like I didn't necessarily want to get into the business to be stressed out. Like I wanted to get into it to give back, because like by 18 I was teaching everywhere because there was nobody else qualified, and it just seemed to be falling into my lap that way. And people wanted, I was teaching some guys here that wanted to just do it, and they were along with me, and like they were keeping up with my training, so it made it easy. I don't really want to go back to that. I can't recall. I've gotten myself to this point to where like I can take away 8 weeks and go to Thailand if I want.
But that's not something that's happened this time round then. With because before you've been out to Sitsong Pinon, haven't you, in your preparation? That's not something you've elected to do this time. I mean, you're fighting in the US as well, so I was wondering how you'd managed it this time round.
Yeah, no Sitsong this time. I gave him a call because I was supposed to do the MMA fight, and I was going to do an MMA fight out there in Lumpini. And I was like,
right,
doing training MMA here, doing it out there. I was just kind of like, all right. Then they switched me, do Muay Thai fight in America, but I'm at an MMA gym. I was like, all right, let me figure this out. I called the boys up, and they would welcome me to come. It was just a lot of logistics, getting out there, coming back. I think I was only get like a few weeks. And so I decided like Kill Cliff. I've been wanting to be with Henry and them for so long, and I was doing so well with my MMA training and leading up to this fight that like we were going to get this thing like rocking and rolling. It was straight to the top, easy. So when they changed me, it was kind of like going back to Muay Thai. Okay, do I go back to Sitsong? So I talked with the coaches and all of them, and they've regimented me up here, and they're on me, like they're on top of me like crazy, just like Sitsong was. And the heat is still out. So it's still hot here. We're not training outside, thank God, but it's still hot. But I do miss them. But that's some tough training out there.
What I wanted to say is that your Muay Thai style is different.
Yeah.
There's no doubt influence from your extensive background in the different martial arts that you've done, including MMA there. I mean, you don't always do and behave as you'd typically expect. And that's something that your opponents almost have like a learning curve trying to figure you out. Is that something that you consciously exploit?
I'm a knockout artist. Plain and simple. That's what I'm coming out there to do. Knock you out. Best weapons are going to be used. I'm fighting a Thai boy. I ain't kicking with a Thai boy, man. You're going to kick the crap out of me, man. You're going to beat me so bad. I spar with them all the time that I don't have the reactions to beat them like that. I have to do different things to beat them. I have to do things that they're not accustomed to, and sprinkle in a little bit of Muay Thai so that they can see this picture. Definitely, because I've been able to transition through different sports, I've learned different ways to apply boxing in different ways, to traditional boxing, to kickboxing, to Muay Thai with elbow and clinch, so to doing it with MMA. So doing the right like technique as far as like throwing the punches right has to be there, like balance, defense has to be right. So I tend to like be very textbook, I guess, I would think, very textbook in what I'm doing with my movement. I can show notes of traditionalism just to kind of get maybe my opponent into the game with me. But it does sometimes go away when I feel like I'm getting one up and I have to change something. Like I can't just keep checking with the guy who's destroying my leg. Like I can't keep blocking with my arm with the guy who just broke my arm in half. Like, so you have to do things. I'm not built the same way they are, and I do different things that they are not accustomed to, just like you said. So when I'm able to exploit that, I have to get that. I have to get that going because that is my game. That is where I do my thing. I do like to win in a sense of like, this is how it's scored. Don't get me wrong. Like I fought IFMA, I fought for my WMC belt. I think I did the scoring criteria correctly, but that's also leaving that thing to the judges. And now that I'm with ONE and you get the little gloves and my hands are fast, it's hard to say like, well, if I just went out there and kicked and I didn't punch, people are going to be like, dude, what are you doing? Like that's your best thing. Like, why aren't you punching? So yeah, my game, I try to keep it deceptive for sure. Just by learning new things. And then what we're in, like I'll definitely give a certain look to make you feel a certain way, whether it's comfortable or uncomfortable. And then I'll try to use that to exploit your techniques. Just because, everybody's got something that they can cancel out or counter to. And, that's kind of how I apply my game. I feel like I'm an active counter fighter, constantly like evolving through the fight. I have a great base, a great balance, and a defense. And I just need to kind of hone in on what's happening and then just start piecing it up and taking it apart.
Brilliant. Finally, Asa, if you were to give one piece of advice to help someone who wants to be as great as they can be, what would that be?
Yeah, consistency is the mother. So if you can show up as every day, you don't have to put all your effort into every time, but you do have to train with good effort. You do have to work good effort when you train, and be consistent with what you're doing. That doesn't mean just showing up every day. That means like showing up and training hard every day. That means like going to bed fucking all the time, eating right all the time. And I'll say you say this to anybody. My consistency was like this. Don't get me wrong, but we're still trending this way. Okay. There's days where I didn't eat right, so I'm down here, and I didn't sleep right, but I'm still maybe getting to the gym. I'm still getting out for the run. I'm still doing those necessary things to kind of get me to that next step. Now, is it all, you get that head and I didn't train hard enough today. I didn't train hard enough. This is a journey, brother. I've been on this journey. I'm 34 years old now. And, from 18, I could tell you, like, I was getting it. There's nobody. And then at 34, I'm telling you right now, I'm still getting it. So there's no fall off from me. If you're consistent, you're consistent like that. You create those good habits, and then all you have is those good habits. And then just maybe a bad day, you're like, okay, but it's not really that bad of a day compared to most, but it's just for your sake. Yeah, it might be a little bit off day, but be consistent, try to be dedicated. disciplined, keep the chip on your shoulder. Don't think you're special. The minute you think you're special, you're going to start to go down.
Yeah.
And just try to surround yourself with good people, positive people, kind of in the same light as what you're trying to get done. Just because you're at a gym that is successful doesn't mean they have the same views as you. Try to always talk to your coach, tell them like, hey, what you're trying to get done, your goals. Reciprocate that as much as possible, and you'll figure out whether this is the right spot or I need to move on. And somebody who has had, I don't know, 40 coaches, 50 coaches in my lifetime, like yeah, it's okay to move on. You're gonna grow up. Like, it's okay. But as long as you're going, the next step is gonna, that next coach is gonna take you to this. That next training camp is gonna take you to this, right? So consistency, I guess, in a good form.
Yeah, brilliant. I mean, thank you for all of that. That's, with all that experience you've got and how you managed to kind of pull that together into something cohesive, really appreciate you sharing your experience there. You've managed to grab a lot of different opportunities and kind of push that into your own exciting fight style. And I can't wait to see you pitted against John Lineker on September 6th in Colorado. All the best for that, mate. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah. We're going to go to Colorado. We're going to go to Atlanta afterwards.
Thank you ever so much. I'll get this out there, and I appreciate you taking the time for a chat, mate.
No problem, Don. Thank you.
Before we sign off, you can tune in to watch that fight on September 6th between Asa Ten Pow and John Lineker on ONE 168 through Amazon Prime and live on the ONE Championship YouTube channel. And you can catch up with Asa Ten Pow on Instagram at Asa Ten Pow and check out his Florida training ground at floridakickboxingacademy.com. As always, you can find all the relevant links and additional details in our show notes. Thanks for tuning into this episode, and we'll catch you on the next one, where we continue to explore the world of Muay Thai.
Thanks for listening. If you found this valuable, please like, subscribe, and share with someone else it could help too. Please give the podcast a review or comment below. We'd love to hear from you. As always, you can visit heatrick.com for more Muay Thai performance podcasts, videos, articles, and guides. Catch you next time.